Are you ready to come cook with me? Well, my name's Jenny and I'm an Aussie mum of 16 children. Now I'm going to be cooking 5 meals that you can make with beef mince, which is also known as ground beef in other countries. Now these meals are easy to prep, cook, freeze, defrost and get back onto your family dining table. Now they will fit into your family budget, they store well and they're really delicious. So let's head to the store, grab a few ingredients and let's get cooking. Now before we head to the store, always check what you've got in your pantry first. You might already have ingredients, spices, maybe fresh fruit and veggies out of your fridge, maybe some frozen ones in your freezer, and you can use those up first in these meals. Now it's always a nice balance between cooking from scratch and using convenience products. Now, if you're going to try a meal out and you need a spice and you're going to buy a really big jar of that spice, but you might only use a teaspoon out of that jar and then it's going to sit in your pantry forevermore and not be used again, you're not going to save any money. So sometimes it will save you money simply by buying the packet mixes or the marinades in store that have all the work's been done for you, they've put all the right things together and it tastes really yummy as well. So I do a little of both. Sometimes I cook everything from scratch if I've got the time and the inclination to want to do that, and sometimes I like to use the store-bought products which just save me time. I can just pop it in with the meat, add a few veggies and then dinner's on the table for everyone. So you can save money by buying the store brand or the generic brand of the marinades or the spices, or you can also wait for the branded ones to come on sale, and they do come on sale quite regularly, so you can pick those up when they're cheaper. You can store them in your pantry and use them when necessary. So whichever you like to do, you do for your family. If your family eats it, then you cook it. Now I'm going to get some of those today. In my pantry I also have a few herbs and spices that I'll be using in some of the meals as well. So a little bit of both. So a nice balance between cooking from scratch and convenience foods. So I've made a list of what I need to go and buy. I've tacked on a few things at the bottom, like, you know, milk. We always need milk in this family, so I need to go and grab a few extra things like that. But I'll go and grab what I need for these meals and we will get home and get cooking. Now my plan is to go and grab the groceries, come home and start cooking straight away. But of course life can get in the way sometimes and get really busy. So I may have to cook some of it now, some of it tonight, and possibly even some tomorrow. Now, just a word of caution, if you are buying meat or things like frozen goods, make sure you store them correctly overnight if you can't get to cooking on the day of purchase. We're going to be making 5 cheap and tasty meals with mince, also known as ground beef. Now it's a cheap and versatile meat. You can make so many different meals out of it. Make sure you get a good quality mince, and when you've cooked it, you drain out the excess oil. Now the first thing is we're going to add some onions. You can have fresh onions or you can use frozen ones. Dice them up and pop them in with the cooked mince. Now add some seasoning. Now an easy way to bulk out a meal with mince is by adding some lentils. Canned ones are perfectly fine, just give them a bit of a rinse and drain and pop them straight in with the meat. Now I'm adding a punnet of cherry tomatoes. Now I'm also adding a large jar of passata sauce, but you could also add tomato soup or tomato paste, whichever is your preference. I'm also adding a can of diced tomatoes. Check the unit price to make sure you're getting the best deal. Now let's chop up some mushrooms to add to our meal. Give them a good stir through. Now we're going to be storing them in the freezer in Ziploc bags, so always make sure that you label them. Let the mixture cool down first and then pop it in the bags. Seal them tightly. Now all the ingredients for this meal was $34.75, and that was using 1.8 kilos of mince, so there's quite a lot there. We got 20 single serves out of all of that, which is only $1.73 per serve, and all I have to do now is to pull it out of the freezer, add some spaghetti, and dinner's on the table. Next I'm going to be cooking up some beef chow mein. So I cooked my mince and drained out the excess oil. Now if you're going to cook up a meal, do a double batch. You're going to use the same number of pans and utensils and the same electricity, but what you will end up with is a meal that can go into your freezer and you can use on another busy night for your family. Now I cleaned and chopped up an entire bunch of celery. I added 1 cup of water and then I added the diced celery and mixed it through. Now I mixed in some curry powder, some soy sauce, and some chicken stock. Now if you don't have all of those ingredients, use a pre-packed mix from the grocery store. Next I diced up some carrots, and added them to the mince. Now add as many or as few spices as you like. This is all about personal preference, so you can play around a little bit with the amount until you get the right combination for your family. Now don't forget to use your veggie scraps to either make some stock, give them to somebody who has some chickens for their food, or you can compost them. I took a full sugarloaf cabbage and sliced all of that up to put into the mix. I labelled my Ziploc bags. Don't forget to put them on the bottom if you're storing them in an upright freezer. Let the mixture cool down a little bit, and then put them into the Ziploc bags and seal them up. Now this meal, all the ingredients came to a total of $31.10. And I got 20 single serves, so that's only $1.55 per serve. And when it's time to eat it, just add some rice or some noodles on the side and you'll have a complete meal.
Righto, it's my turn to cook tonight, and I'm making Dad's mince surprise. Some of the kids like it, some of them don't even know what's in it, but it's one of my favourite meals. So we'll show you what's in the ingredients and we'll go from there. For our size family, we use 1.8 kilos of Australian mince or ground beef. You might want to use a little bit less. Our family's a little bit bigger than the average. We have few carrots here that we usually grate up. I'll peel them and grate them. We have an onion, one onion. We have 2 potatoes. We're going to have some chocos. These are pre-prepared and frozen by my good wife. And we also have some frozen peas. Onions make you cry. Onion eyes. It's really
Now all the ingredients for Dad's mince surprise came to only $26. And we got 16 single serves. That's $1.62 per serve. And we just added garlic bread when we served it to the family.
Mince is cooked. Now we're going to add some onion. Mix that through. Add some potato. We'll add some carrots. We'll put in our chocos and mix that all through. We probably leave the peas till last. Now we're going to add some gravy mix and some barbecue sauce. There we go. Now we'll mix that in. That gives us a bit of flavour. Last ingredient, we're just going to add some peas. They don't take long to cook, and it's nearly done. That should be enough. Now we're just going to serve it into a bowl. A couple of scoops. A couple of pieces of garlic bread. Well, I hope you enjoyed that simple recipe. Now I'm going to ring the dinner bell and get the rest of the kids here.
Here I am making a beef and bacon pie. So first of all, I took our shortcut bacon, so that's the bacon without the rind on it, and I diced it all up and cooked it in the pan. I then added that to my cooked mince. I added some diced onion. And I threw in a few cut up carrots. Now I added a packet of French onion soup mix. I mixed it with water first and then poured it straight into the meal. Now you can add extra soup mixes if you prefer a stronger flavour. Now you can use whatever leftover veggies you have in your fridge. I had some silver beets, so I cut that up and put that in as well. Next I added some barbecue sauce. And once again I labelled my bags. That way when we put them into the freezer, we know what's in there. I let the mixture cool down and I put it into the Ziploc bags and sealed them up. Now to cook them, you just pull them out of the freezer. You can pop them into a pan, into the oven or into the microwave and heat them up. So when you go to serve it, get some puff pastry, take a sheet, cut it into 4 and then down into triangles. You can make whatever shapes you like. Pop them onto a pan and into the oven so that they brown up. Keep an eye on them, they will burn quickly. Now all the ingredients for this meal cost $29.25. And we got 16 single serves. That's $1.82 per serve. And we just ate it heated up with the puff pastry on top. Now this dish has a lot of great flavour, and having it deconstructed with the puff pastry on top makes it loads of fun for the kids to eat. And the last meal for this video is I'm making a tasty meatloaf. Now I'm using 1.8 kilos of mince, which will give me 4 loaves, but you can do less if you prefer. Now firstly I'm going to peel and dice up some onions. add those into your uncooked mince. Then take some zucchinis and grate them up. And next you'll want to grate some carrots as well. Add them to your raw mixture. And then add some breadcrumbs. Add in all of your seasonings. Add some eggs in. Now I used 8 eggs for 1.8 kilos of mince. And for such a large amount, I had to split it down into 2 lots so that we could mix it in the bowl. Now the idea is to get the mixture to a consistency that it will stick together. Once you've finished mixing it, you will want to get some loaf pans. And if they're going straight into the freezer, you will need some freezer film. This just makes it easier to get them back out of the pans and into the Ziploc bags. Don't forget to label them and to remind yourself to remove the freezer film before cooking. Make sure the mixture is firmly pushed into the tins. And then bag the meatloaf. Now you're going to want to add your glaze for when you are going to cook it. So add some Worcestershire sauce and some barbecue sauce, mix it together, put them into some small Ziploc bags and put that in with the loaf. And it can be put into the freezer all together. Now for the meatloaf that you're cooking right now for dinner, put a little bit of oil into the tin, put some baking paper in there, and then put your mixture in. Make sure you pack it nice and tightly into the tin. Pop it in the oven. It will probably take about 35 to 40 minutes on medium heat. And about 15 minutes before you're going to pull it out of the oven, add your glaze to the top. Just pour it on and let it cook in the oven. Once they've come out of the oven, you can let them cool. Now you can either eat them cold, or you can reheat them, or you can have them straight away. It'll make them easier to slice though if you let them cool right down first. To reheat them, just put them onto a tray back in the oven for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can serve them with your preference of veggies. Well, I hope you enjoyed cooking with me. I certainly had fun, and I hope you're going to try out some of those recipes with your family. So make sure you like the video and leave me a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. We'd love to have you stay here with us because I will have more budget-friendly family meal videos coming up very soon. So thanks for watching this one. God bless.